start, I need to press the button for doubling the throughput.
Imagine you're on a thrilling roller coaster ride. The twist, the turns, the accelerating speed. That's what fast hardware development is about. It's a new way of thinking. It's a fast-paced approach that transforms the way we develop our products. And now, picture this. You are all in a team building for the next generation of smart sensors, smart devices. And instead of waiting for months or years maybe, it's like you're having a magic wand in your hand and you just flip with it and the real stuff comes out in weeks or even days. So it's faster to bring the concept to the market than you ever thought was possible.
Mattias, wake up. What were you dreaming about? Come back to the reality. So, meet my colleague Mattias Jansson. He's just started as the managing director of SIC's Innovation Center here in Linköping. And we have worked together since several years, and I know you were working as an R&D project manager, as an HI coach, and also as a project manager for strategic initiatives at SIC group level. I think you have been at SIC for more than 18 years, right?
Yeah, but I tell you, Simon here, he can easily top that. He's been at our company for 35 years. And that's truly impressive. And I'm really happy that Simon is here because he can much better tell the story that we're about to tell you soon. But anyway, Simon Trautmann, he began his career at SIC in the development department as an electronics engineer. And later, like many people do, transitioned into product management. And now he is heading the product management office at our headquarters in a so-called business cluster. Companies call them these things different things, but in our company it's called business clusters. And he plays, I would say, a key role in shaping the way we are advancing product management methods and practices across our organization. And having been so many years at the same company maybe says something. Either it's because we could not take the initiative to move our butts from here, or it's something else. And I think it's something else. I really enjoyed working at SIC because it's mostly fun. But I also like our foundation that came from our founder, Erwin SIC. That's why we have the name. We're not working with medical. He was a real inventor who wanted to do really good things in the world. Luckily, he was married to Gisela. And she said, okay, Erwin, we need to earn money, otherwise we will starve. So that was a way to form the company. And now we are a big company. We are spread out all over the world, 55 subsidiaries, and almost 10,000 employees. But how does this connect to our story, Simon?
Well, at the time of the start in 1946, there was no internet, no AI, and even no HI coaches. And it was an art to develop technical solutions. So Erwin and Gisela grew the company as a classical industrial company, where the organization consisted of highly specialist groups and the customer needs were quite stable. So this built up a culture of front-loaded planning approaches, and the management of SIC was centrally located. Actually, it kind of worked for some time. So SIC has been very successful over the years and is now a supplier of smart sensor solutions with more than 40,000 products. For industrial automation, where we have sensors like small light switches, you can see it here on the slide, or safety live curtains, scanners, code readers, industrial cameras, and more. But now this culture and all these products starts paying its tribute. So the front-loaded planning not only takes time, but in a dynamic world we learn that it is also created a false sense of security and predictability. So our teams were built up of specialist competence and the resource planning was optimized so that everyone was fully booked in several projects.
So basically, I would say that we lived in some kind of reversed agile manifesto world. And on top of this, our projects are quite complicated because we need to develop the hardware, the software, we need to build a production line for our product, we need to secure that we fulfill all the qualifications that we need to do, CE for example, and we need to have the component supply ready and all those things. And on top of that, marketing, which is also something we need, it's included in our project. So having said this, I think we could maybe share a project which defines our problem for our change journey.
Yes, so as you can see here on the slide, several years ago we had a project, so we can call it a camera development project. So basically we made a plan through a detailed pre-study, got the approval from the steering committee, and we started. And they assumed that appointing the best project manager would guarantee success.
And this worked?
Let's have a look, Mattias. So when the promised release date was reached and the budget completely used up, we only had some prototypes. And the project progress was close to zero at that time. So we reduced the scope, yet in the end, the project still required twice time and budget. So we were far away from what Mattias dreamed in the beginning. So question to you here, does any one of you recognize something like this? So I heard here in Sweden you had a famous tunnel project at the west coast, or we in Germany have this train station in Stuttgart, similar like that.
Okay. So if you would look at this from a more data-driven perspective, what will you see?
Yes, the question was this an isolated case? And you can see here our camera project. We normalized it in the time perspective and also from the cost. The bubble size represents the complexity or the scope of the project. And you can see also in this timeline that we have more to see.
And in this situation, was this acceptance in this? Did you like it?
No, absolutely not. So this was a turning point for us. And we did a root cause analysis on our symptoms, and you can see we found a lot of things there.
Yeah, that's quite many things, Simon.
So definitely. And we concluded that we had some challenges. So basically 2 or more sides. We had 2 philosophies in how to work. So in Waldkirch, we had a function-specific teams with specialists. For example, we had a mechanical engineering team, we had an electronic engineering team, optics team, so on and so forth. So extremely clear roles and responsibilities in Germany, and you act within your role. And in Sweden, it's very much more team-based and then sometimes unclear role responsibilities. And also from a project perspective, we did a classical waterfall approach in Germany, and our plannings needed some time, and also then we came up with the question, are we working at the same project or the same product?
Yeah, that was really a question. And so you can see we had 2 different cultures basically. With Linköping, the site that I belong to right now, relatively small site, around 91 employees. We are in one house. We only have 1 coffee room. How about that? And you go down to Waldkirch, you will meet with several thousands of employees at the same place. So also you see in Germany a resource-optimized planning of our hardware colleagues. And we also saw some aspects in Linköping which were kind of hindering us. It's the classical Swedish consensus to death thing. It took also a long time for us to take decision, but even longer time in Germany because there were so many hierarchical levels, so you need to go through all these ones and then back and forth. So that also took time. We also had what Simon said, we had projects where we had a bunch of product managers wanting something from the same project. So
at the end, we said we have to do the obvious and we should start creating a product together for our customer needs. And we asked our management, and they also agreed to our proposal and agreed that it made absolutely sense to build a common platform for code reading and visual inspection device. So our new camera project was supposed to cover both product managers' needs.
And that was a great mission. But what did we actually do?
Yeah, the good thing was that there was a sense of urgency, and this is not bad if you want to change something. And the first thing is we started an enabling initiative. We called it the Orga project in our business unit, and we implemented first measures like product pillars, and we also did first experiments with agile development in the hardware.
And in the next steps, the business cluster, which is also an organizational element, brought up another initiative they called Doubling the Throughput. That's the title of our speak, which was also kind of an enabling initiative, which was focusing on things like principles and value streams, how we handle impediments, and how we handle reuse. And in the green boxes, you can see the related artifacts like Focus, Flex Office, which we'll come back to.
Yes, and we have one more. In our business unit, we started then the next enabling initiative. We called it the value stream baseline, which is a more detailed implementation of doubling the throughput. And it was about events, flight levels, roadmaps, cycles, teams, and roles. And I will present later something about what is a system demo, PI planning, iterative work, and cross-functional teams. But first, let's have a look on 5 of our principles. The first one, ambitious goal. So ambitious targets inspire innovative thinking. And ambitious doesn't mean unrealistic. Or empowerment and trust. So we set clear goals, we trust the team, and we use their combined knowledge to determine what's needed and how to achieve it. Focal point. We reduce the scope. We reduce also the work in progress, and the person works only in one project or product at a time. Customer centricity. The developer needs to understand the customer application and visits our customer. So we should make our customers happy, not the stakeholders. And last but not least, we set clear boundaries. So that means that we have a frame like team size or time box, and not how to solve the customer's problems. Now the cross-functional teams have the clarity which decisions can be made by themselves.
And when you mention cross-functional teams, this was a thing we were already doing, because we were only doing software development in Linköping, and that's quite easy to organize, in my view. So how was it to organize this amongst hardware development?
Yeah, it's a similar approach in the hardware, but let's have a look. So if you see here on the slides, the colleagues were used to work in their silos. So the electronics group was sitting on one floor, or the purchasing colleagues were sitting in a completely another building. But as you know, and we heard it also today, silos are slowing down project teams and are blocking the collaboration. Also, they are fostering over-engineering. So one example was that one colleague in the electronics department tried to build the best power supplies, and he also encouraged others to do so. But as you know, all we need is a good enough power supply. So we started to bring them together as a team. And we defined also some design rules, how we can set up a team. And a good example is to cut teams, or to design it that you decouple the teams here by the architecture or by clear technical interfaces.
And I remember when I came down to Waldkirch after Corona, there was a new building that was installed during Corona. I visited once, and then I came back after Corona, and I couldn't find anyone. What the heck did you do?
Yeah, Matthias, as I mentioned earlier, we needed cross-functional teams, but not virtual ones. So our vision was to create a workplace together with our employees, a space that truly reflects their needs and aspirations. So we wanted the office to be more than just a place to work. It should offer real value, a reason to come in every morning. A place where people connect, share ideas, and feel inspired. So a hub of creativity and innovation designed to make collaboration natural and enjoyable.
So enjoyable, did the people like it?
I would say overall yes. So the people came back from their home office, and we are today at about 70% office attendance without being forced to come to the office. But of course there is some resistance and fear, and so one colleague said, how can I solve my problems if I cannot sit with my other mechanical colleagues? So next topic, PI planning. So who in the audience knows PI planning or stage planning or something like that? Okay, so it's known. We introduced them some years ago, and we needed the alignment of our cross-functional teams on common goals. So the teams are getting the input from the product management in the morning, and then the teams are creating their plans by themselves. They're managing the dependencies to other teams, and at the end of the day, they commit to an updated roadmap and also on common objectives as a guideline for the next 3 months.
So from a management perspective, this is considered to be quite an expensive activity. Did you see any immediate effects?
Yes, so for the first time we had plans and goals that the people believed in, and then we achieved a much higher predictability and transparency. But we learned we have to be very careful with the word predictability if we mean delivering features in time. That would be not a good approach. Also, we introduced system demos every month. So the teams of a value stream are presenting their achievements and they are collecting feedback from various stakeholders. And we introduced iterative work. So you can see here some examples of iterations in our new camera project. So the purpose is to learn and collect feedback. And we want to shift the learning left and work in small steps.
A lot of nice and good words. So now we're perfect then.
No, we are still not satisfied there. We see a lot of more incremental work instead of real iteration, and also we need more full stack customer testing here.
So we talk a lot about artifacts, events, methods, but what about the people? Some fears I can see. And how did you handle that?
Yeah, let's hear what our colleagues said and how we handled that. I will miss the exchange with my other electronic colleagues, say an electronics developer. So we encourage them to start a community of practice. Also, the disciplinary leads are still domain experts. And the further measure was to instantiate a specialist group day where they can sit together. Or a mechanical engineer say to us, let me work on my part instead of having a daily. So regular retrospectives with the teams or specialist groups helps to understand the pains and gains of our people. Or, I don't want to deal with the customer's problems. I was hired to write code, told the software developer. So coaching the teams by Scrum Masters and group leaders helps to support the change. And we learned today, this is very dangerous, saying something like that. So now we are some years later, and the voices have completely changed. So the purchasing colleague mentioned, my concerns are heard and addressed promptly. Or the production planner said, how is it possible to work without a daily when he heard that others meet only once a week? Or our agile coach said, I didn't see that speed of decision making before. The mechanical developer commented, I trust in our plan. And Mattias, look, we held also on retro and asked the people how they feel with the change now.
3.9, would you go to that restaurant?
It depends. So you see, we have still some things to do. We are still not satisfied, or we still want to improve. And you can see here some questions like, which task of an electronic engineer can also be done by the mechanical guy? Or another question would be, can the optical engineer help in the production to build up some prototypes? Or we also feel that the electronics guys, for example, feel like a sub-team in the team. And over-engineering is still a topic.
So, a lot of changes. Do you have any comparison now? Did you start any new project, and how did it go?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, so we started this new camera project. The product is now very successful at the market, and we were able to launch it significantly earlier and meet the expectations of our customers. And this is very important because we heard also about value creation or not creating only some features. So let's hear what they said. So one customer said to us, we tried to solve our problem for more than a week with a competitor device. With yours, it was solved within 2 hours. Or the sales engineer said to us, in the past we had to complain about the products you sent us, but now there are no excuses, we have just to sell the product. And our product manager said, this was the most successful vision launch we ever had.
And I think this was really impressive, what happened during these few years. So did you do an analysis why it went so well?
Yes, we asked also the team again what were the reasons for the success. And they told us early discovery and risk reduction. So we took the time when it made sense, so for example, for thermal simulations and design reviews. Also, we set clear priorities. We remind ourselves constantly of time to market. Decisions according to priority and best knowledge, and we stuck to it. Focus and dedication, so the whole team had one common goal. Keep it lean in terms of processes and content.
And what about doubling the throughput? Did you reach your goal?
Yeah, so let's have a look again on some data. We reviewed our recent projects and we noticed now a significant improvement in the speed. This is a great thing. We also managed to save money, as you can see. This went also down, and that means we didn't need additional resources. That's a fantastic outcome, Mattias.
Yeah, I agree. So I try to summarize the main conclusions from this journey. The sharp turns in our roller coaster is forming, which we see now in our hardware development, that they can much better handle the dynamics of our market conditions. And thereby we don't lose a lot of time in big replannings. We do go together as a team, and we handle the twists and turns together. So we actually see it helping culture forming and colleagues daring to work outside their own area of expertise. And we are not asked to go on 2 different rides or projects at the same time, at least mostly. And our management checks that we can actually go on the next ride, and if not, they remove the obstacles to do so. And through continuous feedback, we are able to make the next project and rollercoaster journey even better for us.
Yes, that's right, Mattias. And so you can go back to sleep, and if you dream about a roller coaster again, you'll find out that you now can see some of steep hills and turns already existing in reality. So it's not ready, but we have started. So sleep well, Mattias.
Thank you. Thank you.